Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty intense, the official guide to surviving and working in one of the absolute toughest places on the planet.
You see, Antarctica, it's more than just a place on a map. It's like a constant test of everything we've got, our smarts, our endurance. So in this explainer, we're going to give you an inside look at the incredible prep it takes to work there safely. And believe me, every single detail matters.
So, before you can even think about doing any science, you first have to master the art of just, well, staying alive. Let's start with the absolute basics. How do you fight that bone-chilling cold? All right, so staying warm when it's unbelievably cold isn't as simple as just grabbing the biggest, puffiest coat you own. Nope, it's actually a science. And that science, it all starts with one core idea: layering. Okay, this is where it gets really clever. You've got these 3 layers, and they all have to work together perfectly. Think of it like this. Your base layer is all about moisture control. It pulls sweat away from your skin so you stay dry. Then, that middle insulation layer, that's your warmth trap. It holds onto your body heat. And finally, the shell layer, that's your shield. It blocks the wind. Each one does its own job, and when you put them all together, you've basically created your own personal little weather bubble. Okay, getting through a long, freezing night, that's a whole other ballgame. And it takes some pretty wild techniques. First off, you've got to insulate yourself from the ice below you with a couple of sleeping pads. Then, remember your body is basically a furnace, right? So you need to stoke it with fuel, fats, and carbs right before you sleep. But here's the counterintuitive part. You don't want to wear all your clothes because sweating is the enemy. And that brings us to, and I'm not kidding, maybe the most important piece of gear out there, the pee bottle. Because trust me, getting out of your tent in the middle of the night, just no, not an option. And you know what? Those same rules apply during the day. As you're working, you're generating heat, but you're also generating sweat. And sweat is your #1 enemy out there. So it's all about managing it. Taking short breaks, changing out of wet clothes the second you can. And that wind shell? Oh, it's so much more than a jacket. Get this. In a serious wind, that thin layer can feel like adding 50 degrees of warmth. It is, no joke, a lifesaver. So we've covered how one person stays warm, but how does that scale up to a whole team? Let's get into the planning. Because in Antarctica, here's the thing. You're not just planning for everything to go right. You are obsessively, meticulously planning for everything that could possibly go wrong. And this right here, this is the core idea behind all their risk management. Accidents aren't just random bad luck. They see them as happening at a very specific point. It's where the human stuff, the things we control, like our decisions or how tired we are, collides with the environmental stuff, the things we don't control, like a hidden crack in the ice or a freak storm. You can't move the crevasse, right? But you can absolutely change how you deal with it. So the big takeaway here is that safety isn't just some checklist you tick off and you're done. No way. It's a continuous loop. The team makes a plan, they spot the dangers, figure out what they have to work with, and then they go. But the whole time, they're watching, they're talking, they're reassessing. Is this still working? Did the weather just change? It's always moving, always adapting. And these bags are the perfect example of that planning in action. I mean, look at them. They're not just random uh-oh kits. The gear you have is specifically chosen for the kind of risk you're about to face. That red bag? That's for when you're staying close to base. But if you're going way out there into the deep field where help is a long, long way away, you're taking that beefed up blue bag. It's literally risk assessment you can carry on your back. But, even with all this incredible planning, stuff can still go wrong. So what happens then? What happens when a team out in the middle of nowhere is in real trouble? Okay, let's put you in the scenario. You're out on the ice, doing your work, and you miss your scheduled radio check-in, just by a few minutes. To you, it might not seem like a big deal, but back at base, the response that kicks in is immediate. It is dead serious, and it is organized down to the second. A super detailed protocol just clicks into motion. This is not people running around wondering what to do. This is a well-rehearsed plan that ramps up through specific phases on a very strict timeline. The whole point is to get from, something might be wrong, to, okay, we are taking action as fast and as safely as humanly possible. And get this, 5 minutes, just 5. If you're on foot and you're 5 minutes late for a check-in, that's it. The Emergency Operations Center is notified and the whole process begins. There's no, let's give them another 10. Nope, that's how critical every single one
of those check-ins is.
And while all that's happening back at base, and remember, help could be hours, maybe even days away, the team in the field isn't just sitting there waiting. They can't. They're trained to become their own first responders. They immediately start working through a checklist to assess the scene, stabilize anyone who's hurt, and just manage the crisis until help can get to them.
So, you have this massive, complex system of safety and logistics, and it's all there for one reason: science. But underneath it all, guiding every single decision, from where you pitch your tent to how you handle an emergency, there is one final, unbreakable rule.
And we're not talking about a friendly suggestion here. This is international law. The entire continent of Antarctica is protected, set aside for peaceful science. And that means everything that happens there is controlled by treaties designed to keep this incredible wilderness exactly as it is, for the good of science and really for the entire planet. So how does that big idea play out on the ground? Well, it turns into really strict, very practical rules for everybody. You have to clean all your gear to make sure you're not bringing in tiny foreign organisms. If you spill anything, even a drop, it gets reported. And the wildlife, you give them their space, always. The goal is to be a ghost, to make sure they never even know you were there.
And when they say leave no trace, they mean it in the most literal way possible. I mean, look at this chart. They have a whole plan for packing out every single thing. We're talking solid waste, urine, even the dishwater from cooking. Absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, gets left behind.
So, after all this, why? Why go to all this trouble? It's because the incredible science that happens in Antarctica, the stuff we're learning about our climate, our planet's past, even the secrets of the universe, it's only valuable if the lab itself, the continent, stays perfectly clean and untouched for the next generation of scientists.
You know, getting this peek behind the curtain at how things work in Antarctica, it just shows you this huge, invisible system of rules and plans that makes impossible things possible. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden procedures are out there quietly making it possible for us to explore outer space or the deepest parts of the ocean? What other frontiers are being opened up by a really good plan?